Midwest Indigo is technically our first non-single from Clancy, but oh my god, it does not disappoint. With a sound heavily reminiscent of Vessel and lyrics that not only hit hard, but are just so good. Like, seriously, I was giggling and kicking my legs after finishing the language analysis because this is such a cleverly written song. Midwest is today's topic for analysis. Before we start, I am going to make the quick disclaimer that this is my own personal analysis on the message and the meaning behind Midwest Indigo. I am in no way saying my interpretation is the only one or correct. This is just the conclusion I have reached. During the pre-release livestream for Clancy, Tyler gave insight behind all of the songs that had not yet been released. When talking about Midwest Indigo, he stated that it was inspired by their hometown, Ohio.
Before we get to that though, more on Midwest, I wanted to mention the song itself. I guess in a sense, it was a song to Ohio and where we grew up and the Midwest specifically, and that feeling of driving to school and barely
Midwest Indigo lyrically talks about Tyler's struggles with his hometown and the relationship he has with it. Such a message is conveyed through many extended metaphors, linguistic methods, and callbacks to other songs. This, in itself, the heavily veiled and metaphorical way which the meaning of the song is executed, is in heavy contrast to many of the other more blunt, straightforward songs we've received this era, only matched by songs such as Backslide, Snap Back, and Paladin Straight. The complex way in which this meaning is obscured and layered, much like in Backslide, arguably does have a purpose to it, although I'll get into this later. Firstly, the song sets out the state of Tyler's relationship with home. It tells us that this relationship is heavily strained. The first line is reaching out on my way home. To reach out means to get in contact. This translates to Tyler trying to get into contact with Midwest Indigo on his way back to it. The fact that he needs to reach out implies that he hasn't stayed in contact with his hometown, which is our first sign that the relationship is strained. One of the more repeated words in the song is the adjective cold, which is used twice in the chorus. While saying that Ohio can be cold can be taken literally, it can also refer to being cold in personality, which paints Ohio as being quite hostile towards Tyler. The first verse ends on the lines, concentrate on the little gap in the ice that seems to be about as wide as our chances. With the gap being small, what this lyric seems to imply is that their chances are slim, and considering this is being said to Ohio, to Midwest Indigo via the collective pronoun of are, we can infer that this lyric means the chances of them having a relationship are slim. The pre-chorus also conveys some further hostility from Midwest Indigo. In both pre-choruses, Ohio is portrayed as the responder, since that vocal was more layered to seem like several people talking.
Did you pull up yet? Not yet. Did you forget what tied on?
Their responses are brief and often shouted, presenting them as hostile and aggressive towards Tyler's questions. There's also a semantic field of time throughout the entirety of the song. Running late, so I didn't have the time. Did you forget we're tight on time? 2 minutes and we're right on time. The purpose of this semantic field is to emphasize that time is running out to mend this relationship, that there is the potential for it to expire. Meanwhile, it also alludes to the larger theme of this album, which is cycles, as time is a set cycle, implying that this is a never-ending issue. I mentioned previously that these lyrics are quite complex in comparison to other songs we've seen this era. Each time that Tyler makes the decision to lyrically make the song blunt or concealed, it's always been intentional and always added to the main messaging of the song. We see a similar concept here. The complex lyrics ultimately show that the relationship Tyler has with Ohio isn't easy or straightforward, nor can it be solved in such a way. This strained relationship with home itself really reminds me of the message in Hometown from Blurryface. The song explored how home had become foreign and he feels lost in it, needing to seek support from others to rediscover that familiarity. Meanwhile, Midwest Indigo presents home as having evolved into something hostile, adding to that complete lack of familiarity. There are many reasons as to why this relationship is strained, however. For example, the lyrics have a general theme of seasonal depression, that home is such a difficult place to be because of the seasonal depression it encourages. This ultimately all has a negative impact on Tyler's mental health, which further strains that relationship he has with Midwest Indigo. The second verse in particular starts to expose this. Firstly, Midwest Indigo has a semantic field of snowy weather, with cold, frosted, ice, cloud coverage. This semantic field can be taken quite literally. Ohio is a place riddled with bad weather. This bad weather often inhibits Tyler. The first verse details how it frosts his windshield, which he doesn't have time to scrape, and it makes it impossible to see, only leaving him a little gap. Throughout 21 Pilots' discography, the mention of cars is often used as a metaphor for Tyler's journey of mental health, a metaphor that has been used incredibly frequently this era. What this implies is that Ohio's weather ultimately inhibits Tyler's journey of mental health. Seasonal depression stops Tyler's mental health journey by making it difficult to move forward from these struggles. This is reinforced with "like we're barely scraping by," an idiom used to mean to live with barely enough. Tyler is already doing bad, and being home amidst seasonal depression is making things worse. In the second verse, this idea of Ohio causing him seasonal depression is further highlighted. Cloud coverage matched my outfit to a knife is one such example, as match my outfit to a knife is a reference to the idiom match to a T, as they both mean the same things. Everything is closely matched to a point. This ultimately means his outfit matches the gloomy weather, the cloudy sky, which not only reflects his inner struggle with depression, but also shows how much the weather of Ohio has influence over him. This poor weather, the seasonal depression, influences his clothes and behaviour. The usage specifically of the noun knife in that metaphor also gives a harsher, violent connotation to it, again illustrating the hostile nature of Midwest Indigo and how harmful its influence actually is. It's a different blue, it's deeper than it's been. Blue makes up a part of Indigo and is also a sign of defeat. The more he's home, the more defeated he feels, so there's that implication that his seasonal depression is deepening. The bridge of the song showcases Tyler's desperation to escape from seasonal depression, stating that he wants love and sunny days. Not only that, but this lyric seems to potentially be in reference to both the chorus of Good Day, which also talks about seasonal depression, as well as the first verse of Ride, which emphasizes life being easier to cope with when in the sun. Another reason Tyler feels his relationship with home is strained is due to the state of the relationship itself. It's toxic and one-sided. Midwest Indigo utilizes many key linguistic features, the most notable one being personification, where an object or concept is given human features, or at the very least some form of sentience. Here, Midwest Indigo, home, is personified through the constant emphasis of referring to Midwest as you in the chorus. This personification functions to intensify the impact of everything Tyler is suffering from, making it seem as though Midwest is making him suffer on purpose, is being cruel on purpose, is weaponizing seasonal depression on purpose against him. The chorus features Tyler affirming that he'll continue to try again to contact home, which implies that home constantly ignores him. Moreover, the use of can in You Can Be So Cold is uncertain and vague, presenting the idea that his home can also be warm to him, nice, illustrating this unpredictable toxic relationship where his home cuts him off and treats him randomly. This is followed by You Make Me Sad and Second Guess Myself, which, whilst being an audio cue that itches my brain, has so many different linguistic and auditory methods shoved into it. Firstly, it features a lot of sibilants, S sounds that flow, before being immediately contrasted by more plosive sounds, harsh sounds such as P, D, T. Not only that, but this contrast between the two sounds is particularly highlighted with the staccato way in which Tyler pronounces the lyric. This reinforces the harsh thoughts that have resulted from the treatment he faces, whilst also emphasizes him second-guessing himself given the juxtaposition in sound. The pre-chorus also presents Midwest Indigo as having other unfavourable traits that harm Tyler. Not only are the responses loud and aggressive to Tyler's calm questions, but from forgetting that they're tight on time to yelling at Tyler, Home is also presented as inconsiderate or ignorant to Tyler's feelings. The title of the song itself also adds to this idea of the relationship being somewhat toxic or negative. Indigo is a cold, deep colour that matches the semantic field of cold weather we have seen Ohio exhibit. By extension, it presents Ohio as cold in behaviour. Indigo spiritually also symbolises tranquility, being used historically as a form of protection. This fact becomes a little interesting when you consider that Midwest indigo refers to a type of flower. False indigos are known to be native to the Midwest, and are named such as they were used as a substitute for true indigo. This could mean that all that should be associated with indigo should be associated with home are false. Ohio is not a tranquil place where he feels safe. And arguably, this could be reinforced with the reference to the plant in the first place, as flowers aren't the strongest of plants. Finally, we also have to consider that the semantic field of snowy weather we see consistently throughout the song does not have to be taken literally. The cold, harsh weather can present home as having a cruel personality, whilst the cycle of weather is not only unpredictable, presenting Midwest indigo as being unpredictable, but also that this toxic relationship is a cycle that Tyler cannot break out of. In summary, Midwest Indigo presents Tyler as having a strained relationship with the concept of home due to suffering from seasonal depression, but also due to its toxic nature, how poorly it treats him and harms him, promising that things will change and get better, but always falling back into that cycle of cruelty once again. The music video further expands upon the meaning discussed in the lyrics, of Tyler's strained relationship with Midwest Indigo, or the concept of home. And much like the lyrics, not only does it do this in a metaphorical manner, but it also dabbles in the subjective definition of what home actually is. Whilst the lyrics are vague and present it as a place, the music video presents home as being a person. Much like most of the music videos this era, the premise is incredibly simple. It can quite literally be defined as Tyler and Josh goofing around in ice and snow for 3 minutes and 21 seconds, with cameos from Jenna, Jordan, and Jim, seemingly trying to film a music video together. We also have yet another sneaky reference to Ride thrown in the music video when Tyler puts his hand over his eyes to the sunlight. As aforementioned, this simplicity is deceiving, as the music video serves to further double down on exploring Tyler's toxic and one-sided relationship with home, this time Midwest Indigo being represented by Josh. It's almost a little philosophical in a way, exploring the actual concept of what constitutes a home in itself. It can be a physical place, but it can also be a group of people, a person, a friend that one can find home in. Arguably, the lyrics slightly allude to this more complex discussion, with Tyler stating, "I'm a bit too old to run away," which is potentially a reference to the Run and Go, a song that can be argued to have familial or platonic connotations to it. Side note, before I analyse further, I would like to say that I'm not implying that Tyler and Josh's relationship is strained, or that their friendship is toxic. The purpose of Josh taking the role of Midwest Indigo isn't to reference anything in reality, but it serves the purpose of assisting in detailing that complexity of the lyrics and the very concept of what a home is. That it could be a physical place or person, that home is not just a literal concept. I'm not being parasocial and speculating on Tyler and Josh's friendship, just noting how Josh plays a symbolic role to overall affirm the meaning of the lyrics. The music video details all the ways in which Tyler's relationship with Midwest Indigo is toxic or one-sided. For example, Tyler puts the effort in to make a pic with Jim's face on it, an effort which is not returned. Josh makes Tyler sit in the back of the pickup truck in the cold. Tyler puts the effort into filming Josh, but again, that same favour is not returned for filming Tyler. And when Tyler starts to slip and fall on the floor with his mic stand, no one ultimately helps him back up. The relationship is one-sided, with Midwest Indigo not extending the same effort Tyler puts into the relationship, into making Midwest Indigo happy. The camera angles also reinforce this idea, with Tyler and Josh nearly always looking separated from one another, the distance symbolising that rift in the relationship. Josh's drum kit even faces away from Tyler in some of the camera shots, which symbolises that distance. There are also a few other pieces of symbolism in the music video that reinforce this strained relationship. For example, this music video is quite literally being filmed on thin ice. And being on thin ice is a common idiom used to refer to things being unstable or one's patience running out. Meanwhile, Tyler appears to be wearing what looks like farmer overalls, which makes sense since Ohio is well known for being the leading farming producer of corn and much more. Tyler being dressed as a farmer creates implications of hard work or arduous labour, ultimately implying that maintaining this relationship that's growing more and more unstable by the second, is essentially hard work. And that's it for my Midwest Indigo analysis. I really enjoyed analysing this song. It's so cleverly written. There are very few songs on 21 Pilots' discography that get me so excited to analyse. I don't think I've had this much fun since analysing Message Man in my own private time, which you're getting soon, by the way. You're getting the Message Man analysis and me fangirling over how good the writing is soon, by the way, don't worry. Hopefully next week I will be talking about my tour setlist hopes. I don't know how I'm gonna lay it out yet, so maybe I'll do the video, maybe I won't, I don't know. But after that, I will be working on routines in the night for my next analysis video. I just tried to give myself it takes 2 weeks to work on these analyses videos, ideally, because of the time needed for language analysis, scripting, recording, and editing. Either way, I really hope you enjoyed this video, because I know I did, and thank you for watching Top Debate!